bought my first home at the age of 24. And with that comes a lot of excitement, but also a lot of fears. So today I'm going to tell my story about purchasing my home, why I purchased it, some things that I would do differently if I was buying today. So hopefully it can help you. If you don't know who I am Brina Gordon, your favorite Central Texas realtor. I'm always on here sharing communities, a lot of information, market updates. But today I'm actually going to share my story as a realtor, part of the reason I got into it, and hopefully be able to give you guys some tips, things to consider when you start your home journey. And if you have any questions, make sure you just comment down below. Purchasing a home is an amazing opportunity, but of course it's a huge purchase, so you do get a little nervous with it, and there's a lot of questions, and there's going to be a lot of information that comes at you just like it came at me. And so my goal is to help you have a little bit smoother experience and hopefully a positive experience to where eventually you want to buy again. So let's dig right into it. So like I said, I bought my home when I was 24 years old. The reason that I decided to purchase the home was actually because I was in a one-bedroom apartment. Although I was grateful for the apartment, I quickly outgrew it, and I also had a dog. The apartments did allow pets, but of course, you have to do extra deposit, pay extra, and I was already on the second floor, and so I was just like, do I actually want to go through that? So that's what actually prompted me to start looking for something outside of an apartment. It was not a house at the time. I just wanted a duplex so I could have my dog and she could have a backyard and just have a little bit more space, because like I said, I outgrew it pretty quickly. Fast forward, we're looking at duplexes, my mom and I, and she kind of just told me one day, like, Brina, the price that you're paying for these duplexes, or potentially going to pay for these duplexes, and we're trying to find someone that will allow pets, why don't you consider buying? Was not on my radar at all. Was 24 years old. You're still trying to figure pretty much everything out. I mean, I'm in my 30s now. I'm still trying to figure it out. But, it's just not something I was really looking to do at the time because it's such a huge jump. And I was like, I just wanted a backyard for my dog. But that did start the wheels turning. And so that's when we actually started looking at homes. So I got with a realtor. I actually looked at new construction first because there was a floor plan that I really, really wanted. And, I got pre-approved. So let me tell you guys that too. We did start looking, but we also quickly connected to the right people who connected us to the right people. So I knew what my budget was and what I really wanted to stay at. I had an excellent realtor, and so she was very honest with me. She's still in the industry today, and so it's really cool to just kind of have like a full circle moment. But anyway, I originally was looking at new construction, and this is one of the first points of something that I wish I would have done differently. There was a floor plan that I really wanted, and the builder had stopped making it by the time I was looking to buy. I think they had just sold the last of that floor plan, and there was another floor plan that was a little bit more larger, a little bit more expensive, and a little bit larger that I could have purchased. And I was just looking at the numbers, and I was like, I'm already kind of panicking just buying a home, and now you want me to spend more money? I just was not comfortable with it. Hindsight, I wish I would have, although I really do love my home. There were some features in that home that I really, really loved. Even to this day, when I see that floor plan come up on the market, I'm like, that could have been my home. So point number one, I would definitely tell you, even, you have your realtor, you have your lender. If you're in Central Texas, hopefully it's me, but if it's not, still take these things into consideration. One thing I wish I would have known was how much my monthly payment would change per $1,000. If I would have known at the time, I probably would have just stretched a little bit more and got that new construction. It was a little bit more, but would have actually made a difference in my monthly payment, or would I have changed my lifestyle at all? I really wouldn't have. I just was looking at the number, and I was already scared of where I was at. Even though I was surrounded by people that were educating me and all that, it's still something you have to commit to. So I wish I would have stretched a little bit more and got that particular home. Again, I absolutely love my current home. Don't regret it at all, but there was, like I said, some features in that home that I really, really like even to this day. So that's one thing that I do wish I would have comprehended a little bit better, is just don't be so scared and focused on that one particular number to where you don't really look at anything else. I had already kind of stretched a little bit more than I thought I was going to at the time, and that was something that my dad encouraged me to do too, because I was looking at a much smaller home. Again, I'm coming from a one-bedroom apartment. Any home I'm grateful for, because I'm like, I've only got one bedroom, one bath, so anything is an improvement. And that was one thing my dad said. He was like, Brina, if you're gonna buy a home, go ahead and get something a little bit larger that you can grow into, that you can enjoy. And so that prompted me to look at the home that I'm currently in. But part of me still wishes I would have stretched just a little bit further and would have got that new construction one that was a little bit bigger. But again, these are just some things that I kind of realized hindsight, which we all have changes of thought hindsight. But if I would have realized how much my payment was going to change in a positive sense, like it wasn't dramatic, it would have changed maybe 20-30 bucks, and that would have made no sort of negative impact on my life, and I would have got a skylight in my kitchen because that's what that builder had in that particular floor plan that I really love. But you live and you learn. Again, I love my home. I've redecorated it. I've done some upgrades to it, and I'm gonna keep it for as long as I absolutely can, even if I turn it into a rental down the line. But I'll say that to say, again, when you're purchasing a home, there's so many little things that you're trying to consider. And so let me tell you from my own experience, things that I wish I would have considered, and things that I've learned, things that I wish I would have done differently, and things that I'm grateful for that did go well. Like I said, I had a good agent, I had a good lender, so I had a smooth process overall, truthfully. It was just me and some of my concerns or my fears that I think may have held me back in some areas. So the next thing, I wish I would have considered some of the day-to-day functionality of my home. Again, I love my home, but I wish I would have had a larger pantry, and I wish I would have had some internal storage, like just, hallway closets or something. I don't have that. I just have the closets that are in my bedrooms, which is still, again, I was coming from a 1-bedroom apartment, so I was just elated to have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and all of that. But now that I've lived in my home for several years, you live, you grow, you purchase new things, all that kind of stuff. I wish I just had a little bit more functionality to where, like, I had a coat closet versus trying to turn one of the other bedrooms into a coat closet. I wish I had a place to put vacuum cleaners, mops, and all that, because all of that I have to store in my guest room. So little things like that just add a little bit more practicality and functionality. And I wasn't thinking of those things at the time because I just wanted a house. Once I realized I was gonna buy, I did not think about, okay, what are my daily things that I need to have access to have hidden, all those sort of kind of things that you consider.
Hey, if you're thinking of relocating to the Fort Cavazos area, I have just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I have it linked right down below. The best part is there's no obligation to this, and it's going to come with everything from the top employers to the best schools and a boatload of other information, everything that you need to make the best decision. Again, no obligation. So make sure you click the link below. It also will be pinned, and I hope that it helps.
I want to go back to the reasons why I purchased. Again, I had a dog that I wanted to have a backyard for. I wanted her to be able to hang out. I didn't want her just to be in an apartment all the time. I had tried to have a dog while I was in college in my apartment, and she was a puppy then too. So I was really, she had so much energy and she was barking, and I was like, girl, you're gonna get us kicked out. I really wanted space for her. But also, anytime your lease is up, my rent was gonna go up. And so I was on a month for a while until I figured out what I wanted to do. I actually moved back into my parents' house. So I saved a little bit while I kind of got stuff finished up, while I finalized the home and realized that kind of gave me a little bit of jump on that too. So don't be afraid to take a step back, to take a step forward, or multiple steps forward. I know as adults, it's the last thing that we want to do sometime, or go back to our parents' house. But if you have that good relationship with your parents and they realize that you're trying to do something to set yourself up for success, most of parents, I believe, are more than happy to accommodate that. Mine helped me move out. I moved back in for a little bit, saved, got the home, of course, moved to my home, been here ever since. So don't be afraid to do that. I know, like I said, we don't always like to do that, but I kept my stuff like in boxes in my room because I was like, I'm not gonna be here for very long. I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I'm saving a little bit versus paying my month-to-month rent, and I'm moving out to my house. So that's something that I was excited for too. If it's something that you want to do, I was young and so I had really limited credit. You do want to make sure that you are getting your credit built as well. A lot of lenders can help you in that process. So if it's something that you haven't started at all, you may not be able to jump straight to purchasing a home. You may need to get a little bit of credit history, but that's fine too. Get that action plan going so you have those options and you're able to make those steps, because it's not just some of the smaller things that we're used to doing. When you start trying to have these larger purchases, they want to make sure, hey, are you actually going to pay us back? So just take your steps that you kind of need to take and just set yourself up for success. So some of the things that people don't really talk about when you're purchasing a home is home maintenance. Although you know it when you're not the one that's responsible for it, I think there's definitely a different relationship with it. Now that I've owned a home for several years, I'm the one I just had my exterior trim painted. I have some new light work put in, or not really light fixtures, I had recessed lighting put in. And so I've added, storm door. I've done a lot to the home, and I'm continuing to improve on the home and make it my own, and it's really an investment into the home. And so just make sure that you do have some reserves set aside. Now, these are things that I've been able to build up over the years. It wasn't just overnight, but you are a homeowner now. And so when something breaks, I don't have a landlord to call or a property management company to call. I'm trying to, book contractors. I'm asking my dad what's going on. YouTube University has been so helpful. It's helped me fix a lot of little things. So you also want to make sure that you are ready for that commitment. I don't have any regrets on it. Anything I've had to get addressed, I've had to get it addressed. My garage door opener had to get replaced. Not the opener, but the springs this year. That was a pretty penny. But again, when you're a homeowner, this is now your responsibility. So it is a mentality shift that you do have to take on of, now this is fully my responsibility. If you need to shop your homeowner's insurance, and that's something you have to do as well. So there's a lot of things that do change. But again, would I have changed my story at all? The only thing I would have done differently, like I said, I probably would have opted for that other home, or I just would have bought sooner, because the equity that I have built, the memories that I have made here, the space that I've now been able to dedicate to my office, to growing my business, to just being able to have friends and family over. For me, all of those things are priceless, and I was able to do all of that in my home. So that's the, for me, the bonus of being able to do that. And I want to kind of just finish up with, I've told you why I purchased my home. I've told you a little bit about, I had my own butterflies. I remember when I was sitting there and I was giving them my check, I was like, oh my God. But I wouldn't have changed it for the world, really. I used an FHA loan to purchase this home. So if you're looking and you're like, well, I really want to do conventional, do what you can that makes sense. I'm never trying to inform anybody or educate anyone wrongly or rush anyone into it. But I used an FHA loan. I only put 3.5% down. So yes, I do have mortgage insurance. But would I have changed the history of anything? No. Would I have tried to wait till I save up 20%? Absolutely not, because truthfully, sometimes that's almost unrealistic for a lot of us. And so do what makes sense for you. But I was able to maintain my lifestyle. I was also able to hold more predictable housing for myself. That same apartment that I moved out of has gone up year after year after year after year. My payment has changed slightly. Homeowners insurance has gone up, but it really hasn't changed terribly. And I can almost confirm, or I'm almost 100%, what I was paying for that 1-bedroom apartment is close to what I'm been able to maintain for my mortgage. Maybe they're 2-bedroom, but you see my point. I was able to maintain my monthly payment a lot better than me being at the mercy of someone changing their rent every time my lease ends, just because the market is able to, or because someone else will pay it. So for me, that was something that I was very much looking forward to as well, not trying to always figure out what I want to do every time a lease ended. Now I'm able to pour into my clients, and I can relate to them when they're trying to shop around for homeowners insurance, when they're trying to figure out, what's a practical function, what do they need in a home versus what do they want in a home. I got a lot of stuff that I needed, and so some of the things that I wanted are things that I was able to add. But again, it's just whatever is priority for you. So there's so many benefits to purchasing a home, and I did it when I was young, and so that was always my goal of using this property as a rental at some point. And so I'll be able to purchase another home and rent this one out pretty easily. Again, I've maintained it well. I've added some upgrades to it, so it does allow me to have a little bit of a better selection of candidates. So there was always a strategy behind it when I did purchase it. But in the meantime, I absolutely love my home, and the only thing that I would have done is probably just purchased it sooner. So this is from my experience to yours, encouraging you to take that step of faith to purchase your home. And if you're in the Central Texas area or anywhere, because I could connect you to any agent anywhere, but please reach out to me. I'm happy to have that discussion with you to see if you're ready to start that journey too. And if so, let's get you some keys. And other than that, make sure you guys comment down below questions or share your story of your first purchase. What was the scariest moment? What was the happiest moment? And let's all just support each other on taking these next steps.